Okay, dear students, welcome back. After concluding byte-oriented streams, now we move to character-oriented streams. Remember one thing, the byte-oriented streams are really sufficient to deal with any type of read and write operation using Java. But the original reason why Java got a lot of popularity, it was it's a philosophy of write once, run anywhere, and one of the reason why this is true for Java, because Java supports Unicode. If you talk about encoding schemes, you know that ASCII is there only for English, but if you talk about Unicode, Unicode supports many languages because it is 2 power 32, whereas ASCII is 2 power 8. So the number of unique characters that we can represent with ASCII are very limited, whereas with Unicode these numbers are quite high, which means that by using Unicode you can encode in Sindhi, you can encode in Urdu, in Persian, I mean all the languages of the world that you can think of. It means that within C++, because it supports ASCII, you probably cannot process Urdu or Sindhi very well, but with Java you can do it because the support is inbuilt, because Java supports Unicode. So in order to have Unicode support, in order to deal with other languages than English, Java provides this character-oriented streams as well. Now remember, these are just walk in the park. If you have properly covered character-oriented streams, then understanding, if you have covered byte-oriented streams, then understanding character-oriented streams is really not a big deal. You just need to learn few classes and then you should be okay. So all those character-oriented streams which are for input, they are driven from reader class, and reader implements auto closable. It also implements closable as well as readable. You have the idea of these three interfaces: auto closable, which means that it can be used try with resources; closable, which means that it's a kind of a stream which you can close; readable means you can read data by using this stream. Right, these are methods. These methods are exactly same as we had in input stream, right? Because input stream is for the byte oriented input and reader is for character oriented input. So it has got close method, mark supported method, null reader, read a buffer, read a character buffer. This is additional. This was not available in byte oriented stream, but it is available in character oriented stream. Ready, reset, all these methods we've already covered in our byte oriented streams. Same way, all the classes for writing in character form, we have got writer. Writer implements auto closable, flashable, and appendable. And here is the list of methods that are available in writer class. Because these are available in writer class, which means that all the classes which are inheriting from writer, like file writer, like byte array writer, they will also be able to use all these methods. We have got append method, we have got append sequence of character, append sequence of character with begin and end, close method, flash method, null writer, write a character, write a buffer. All these methods I think should be making sense to you, because you have properly covered byte oriented streams. Right, now file reader, you can easily guess it is corresponding character oriented stream for file output stream. Its mechanism is exactly same the way file output stream works. The only difference is with file reader, I mean file input stream, not file output stream but file input stream. This file reader can actually process Unicode, whereas file input stream cannot process Unicode. If you are reading Urdu, Sindhi, Arabic, or any other non-English text, then it is strongly recommended that you should go for file reader rather than file input stream, because file input stream is there to process ASCII, whereas these character-oriented streams are good at processing Unicode. And when you say Unicode, it means that you have got support for all the languages, right? So file reader is the corresponding character-oriented stream to the file input stream, that was the byte-oriented stream. It has got the constructor same as file input stream. Its constructor is you need to provide path of the file, or you need to provide reference to the file. File writer, yes, you have guessed very correctly. File writer is the corresponding character-oriented stream for a file output stream, and it has got these four constructor. I don't think I need to explain these to you. File writer, string file path, the file that you want to write to, a file path, whether you want to append or not. If you want to overwrite, then make it false, otherwise make it true. Then file writer again provide the file object, file writer provide file object, and then provide true or false as a second argument. Character array reader, it is corresponding character array input stream in the character oriented stream. So in byte oriented we had character array input stream, whereas here we have character array reader. Same the way we had character array input stream constructor, reading from a character array, starting from this position up to number of characters. So exactly same as we had a character array input stream, right? Character array writer, again writing to an array. Buffered reader, it's a type of filtered reader. You know the concept of buffered input stream, which is actually to read from a buffer. You provide any reader, can be file reader, can be byte array reader, or any other reader. This buffered input stream, this buffer reader will actually read from that stream, right? Same way we also have got buffer writer, which is character oriented for buffered output stream. It will be writing to another output stream, another writer, and that writer can be file writer, can be byte array writer, or any other stream, right? And the default buffer size is dependent on operating system, but if you want to make sure a minimum buffer size, you should be providing here. And remember this buffer size, if buffer gets exhausted, if buffer gets full, then it will be automatically resized. As such, there will be no issue if your buffer size gets full, right? Pushback reader, you have seen in pushback input stream, we have got this beautiful capability of unreading. If you can recall one of the example I gave you during pushback input stream, where we were reading a character and we saw if it is not equal to sign, we actually unread it. So I recommend, if you do not understand this concept, to go back in the pushback input stream, you will get the idea, right? So all those examples, I'm not giving you examples here because I know that all those examples that you have seen in byte oriented streams are applicable to character oriented streams, so they can be applied here blindly. Wherever you are using any byte oriented stream, you can replace it with character oriented stream, it will just work fine. The only difference is these streams are good at handling with Unicode. So if you are handling with the non-English text, then probably you should go for character oriented streams, because byte oriented streams will not be able to handle Unicode properly. Print writer is corresponding stream to print stream. You know the concept of print stream. System.out is a reference of print stream, right? So again, print writer can be a wrapper to another output stream. It can be file output stream, can be byte array output stream. All these constructors are exactly same as we had in print stream. In print stream we had printf. We saw a couple of examples how to write formatted text. So same method is also available in print writer, right? Then this console class, this is also character oriented. I mean, since the beginning we have been using this console class for reading input or for writing output. So this console class, you can get instance of console class by using system reference. We have got read line for input, you have got read line in formatted string, you've got read password, where all the characters that you are inputting, they will not be eCode, rather a star will be eCode. and it has got corresponding formatted string read password method as well, and this writer returns a reference to writer connected to the console. Right, here is a simple example you have already seen in our earlier classes, so I'm not going to execute it. So you can see here I have system.console. It means from system class I'm calling console method. This will give me reference to the console class, and when you have got console class, you can use all these methods which are in the console class. Right, so I say if console is equal to null, then return. If for some reason console has not been instantiated, then we will return. Otherwise we'll say console.readLine, enter a string. You know that it will get input, and then we are just going to print that string on the screen. So this will be the output, enter a string, this is the test, and then here is your string, this is the test. Right, so console class, we have been using it for ages, but today we understand that this is a special facility that is available in java.io for handling input output. Right, okay, so I end this video here. When I come back, I will be discussing the last concept in java.io, which is serialization, which is actually to save state of an object. That is quite handy in many applications to preserve state of an object. You will see that in your practical programming, in your practical life, you will be needing a capability that can assist you to store state of an object. So how to store state of an object, that will be done through serialization. It actually introduces two more stream, object output stream, object input stream. They assist you in serialization. I end this video here, and when we come back, we will be discussing more about serialization. Before leaving from this video, I strongly recommend you guys to please complete reading of complete reference. This is complete reference book. You must have this available with you in hard or soft form. Read each and every program, read each and every line, each and every character from the book. I mean, do not wholly rely on my videos, but you must also read book, because if you read book in this semester, rest of the life you will feel happy, because only then you can be good programmer, your concepts will be very sound. But if you become superficial, you just rely on my videos and maybe a couple of tutorials online, your programming skills will never be sound. So if you want your programming skills become polished, then reading book is not an option. Reading book is mandatory. So please, whatever we are covering through these videos, read that from book as well. Thank you very much.